In this part, we're gonna work on fetching all the wallets and then show them here. Now to fetch all the wallets, we're gonna use a hook called onSnapshot, and it's better to use a component to make it generalized so that we can use it later for all the transactions as well. So let's create a hook use fetch data. Now let's create a functional component, and the data for this component will be dynamic. So this will be passed from the parent component, and this is going to receive the collection name that we are fetching the data from, and then an array of all the constraints, because we can add a condition like where or order by. So this will be of type query constraint from file store, and this is going to be an array. By default, this will be an empty array like this. Then let's create a state for the data, set data, and by default this is going to be empty, and this will also be of type that we passed from the parent component like this. Okay, now we need to create a loading state, and this is going to be by default true, and when we are done fetching the data we will make it false. And let's also create an error state, because if we got any error fetching the data, then we will just save it into this state, and this can be of type string or null. Okay, so this should be single like this. Okay, now let's create a use effect hook, and in that hook we will register on snapshot hook. But first we need to make a condition so that if we don't receive any collection name, then we will just return from here. But if we do receive the collection name, then using that we're gonna create a collection reference. So let's use collection, the firestore object, and then the collection name. Now using this collection reference, we're gonna create a query with all the query constraints as well. So let's use query, pass the collection reference, and then here we will just spread all the constraints if there are any. So now we can pass this to on snapshot hook, and this will give us a function as unsubscribe. So on snapshot, give this the query, and on the second parameter it will give us a snapshot with all the documents. Now we need to call this unsubscribe function when this component unmounts to unsubscribe from this hook like this. Now inside this, let's create a variable as fetched data, and let's save all the fetch data. We need to loop through all the documents on this snapshot and return the data. So we're also gonna include the ID. So let's return a new object. ID will be doc.id, and then all of the data can be found in the data function like this. So this data will have the type that we are passing from the parent component. So let's fetch this data as this type, and this is going to be an array like this. Now after this, let's set the data into the data state, and we also need to stop the loading after we're done fetching the data like this. Now we do have the third parameter, which is going to be a callback that will give us an error. So let's console log the error here, error fetching data. Then we need to set this error into the error state, just the message. And let's also set the loading to false. Okay, great. Now at the bottom, we don't need to return this view. We will actually return the data that we fetched, the loading state, and then the error. Let's save this. Okay, so actually what will happen when we use this, we will pass the collection name, the constraints, then we will register this hook with this query that we made, and then this will give us the fetch data, set it to the data, stop the loading. If we get any error, this will set the error and the loading to false. Now let's see how we can use this. So here we are in the wallet tab, and we can just get the data, error, and the loading state from this hook. So let's use fetch data. Now here we need to pass the type as the wallet type because we're fetching all the wallet data. So here we have all these properties. You can just copy these, and inside this we need to pass the collection name, so wallets. And then we also need to pass all the constraints. We're gonna have two constraints while fetching this data. First, we need to make sure we are fetching all the wallets where the UID matches the UID of the current user. So UID equals to the current user. We also need to get this user from use auth hook, user.uid. Then we need to use a function order by. We're gonna order by all the wallets by the creation date in descending order like this. And let's save this. So now if I open the console, there we can see we are getting an error because this query needs to have an index and we haven't created this index. So if I click on this link and let's open this link. Okay, it just opened into the second browser. So let me just drag that here. Okay, so we need to create this index using the UID and the creation date. So let's save this and it will just start building this index. Now, let me just minimize this terminal and we're gonna fetch all this data as the wallets array. And here, let me just console log the length of all the wallets that we get just to see if we're getting all the three wallets that we created previously. So let's save this. And currently the wallets are 0 and we're still getting this error because it's still building that index. So let's just wait. Okay, there we go. The index is created and now we just need to reload the app and we should be getting all the wallets now. So let's go to the wallet tab. Okay, so now we can see the wallet's length is 3. That means we're getting all the wallets. Now we need to show the loading state when we are fetching the wallets. So let's just remove this, and here where we're gonna show the wallet list, let's create a condition. If the loading is true, then we're gonna show the loading component, which we already have. So let's save this and now just reload the app. Go to wallet. Okay, there we can see the loading state, and after some time it goes away because when we fetch the data, it will just set it to false. Now let's create a flat list, and here we're gonna show all the wallets. Data will be wallets. Then we're gonna have the render item property. This is going to give us the item and the index in a callback. And here we just need to return the wallet item. This needs to be a separate component. So let's create this component, wallet list item. Let's create a functional component and let's save this and import it here. Now here we need to pass the item, the index, and we also need to pass the router as well because we need to move to the wallet model when we click on the item. So we have the router here. Okay, then let's also add the container styles. This will be styles.list style. Let's close this and then save this. So for the list style, we have the padding vertical and the padding top. You can just copy these styles. Now let's go to the wallet list item, and here we need to change this to typo so that we can see this. Let's save this. There we have 3 wallets. Now this is going to receive some properties as the item, the index, and the router. And let's also define the type for this one. So item will be of type wallet type. And then the index will be a number. And the router will have the router property from router type from the Expo router like this. Okay, so now let's just remove this, and here we're gonna use a touchable opacity. So let me just copy and paste the style sheet for this component, and I'll show you these styles whenever I use these properties. And let me just import these variables: vertical scale, the colors, radius, and the spacing X. Okay, so now let's give this touchable opacity a style of container. And this has a flex direction of row because I want to show the icon and the image, the name of the wallet in a row. And inside this, let's create a container for the image and give this a style of image container. For the image container, we have the following styles, so you can just copy these. Now inside this, we're gonna use Expo image to show the icon, to show the image of the wallet. This will have a flex one. Then source will be item.image, content fit as cover, and let's also add the transition as 100 millisecond. Let's close this and save this. So there we can see the images of all the wallets. Now after this view, we're gonna have another view for the name container. So this will also have a style of name container, and we have the following styles for this container. You can just copy these. Now inside this, we're gonna create a typo, and this will show the name of the wallet. So item.name. Let's save this. Now let's add a size of 16. Let's save this. Now let me just copy this for the balance as well. So this will have a size of 14. And inside this, we're gonna show the amount, which is the total balance inside this wallet. Let's also add this dollar sign and change the color to neutral 400. Let's save this. Okay, it's looking good. Now after this, we're gonna show a caret right icons just to indicate that it's a clickable item. So let's just copy the icons from this component and paste them here. And let's use icon dot caret right and give it a size of vertical scale of 20. Then weight will be bold, and then it will have the white color. Let's close it and save this. Okay, it's looking good. Now we're gonna add the animations for this, just like we did for the account options in the profile. So let's change this view to animated view. Then we're gonna have a property entering. So this will have a fade in down animation. And let's use the index to add a delay so that they animate one after another. We're gonna use 50 milliseconds, and let's use springify and then damping of 13. Let's save this. So there we can see the animation already. So if we want to increase the delay, we can just give it a value of 500 milliseconds. Let's just reload, and now this will show like this, but this is very slow. So let's just stick to 50 milliseconds. Let's save this and let's just reload the app. Okay, so now it's looking good. Now we're gonna calculate the total balance that we're showing here. So let's go to the wallet tab. And here we have a function that returns the total balance. So here we're gonna use these wallets that we already have here and calculate the total balance. Let's use the reduce function. And this will give us a total value and the item for each iteration. And we're gonna calculate the total balance. So total will be total plus the item dot amount, which is going to be the balance for each wallet, or 0. Then we're gonna return the total value like this, and the default value will be 0 like this. So actually we can just remove these brackets, and this function will return a value which will be the total balance. Let's save this. So the reason why it's 0 is because we don't have any balance on either of the wallets. So just to see if the calculation is working, let me just update a wallet. And let's just update the amount value to 400 just to see if it's actually working. So let's update. Now there we can see, now we have a $400 of balance. So it's working. Now let's just reset it to 0. Let's update. Okay, everything is normal now. Now, when we click on any item, it should open a model to update this wallet. And we're going to use the same model for updating the wallet that we used for creating the wallet. So let's add a function here, open wallet. And here we're going to use the router. That's why we pass the router to this component, router.push. And here we need to pass the path name. And we're going to go to the wallet model. And we also need to pass some parameters. So we're going to send the ID, item.id, the name of the wallet, and then the image of the wallet. Let's save this. And now let's use this function when we click on any item. So on press, open wallet like this. Let's save this. So now if I click on this, it opens a model, but we need to add the data that we are updating and change some values. So let's open this and let's go to the wallet model. So here first we need to get the data that we passed from the parent component. So let's call it old wallet. And this will have a type which will include the name as string, image will be string as well, and the ID will be string. And let's use the hook use local search params. This will give us the old wallet, and let's just console log this to see if we are actually getting this data. Let's save this. So there we can see in the console, old wallet has this data that we passed from the parent component, and it has the ID, the image, and the name of the wallet. So now we need to fill this data into the inputs. So let's just remove this and create a use effect hook. And when the component mounts here, we need to create a condition to see if the old wallet has an ID. That means we are updating a wallet. We're not creating a wallet. In that case, we will just set the wallet data, and name will be old wallet dot name, and the image will be the old wallet dot image. Let's save this. So now it's just updated the values. Now if we click on new wallet, it doesn't show any values, but if we click on any wallet, it just pre-fills the data that we need to update. So now this is working. So here this needs to say update wallet when we have the old wallet.id. So this title will be condition. This will say update wallet when we are updating, otherwise new wallet. Okay, so this just updated. Now this one needs to update it as well. So let's add the same condition here. Then it will say update wallet, otherwise it will say add wallet. Let's save this. Okay, so now we need to change this function as well. So here we need to pass the ID because now we are updating the wallet. So let's make a condition. If we have the old wallet, then data.id will be old wallet.id like this, and let's save this. Now when we pass the ID, and inside this function we should have a condition. So this is for the new wallet, but here we are creating this wallet reference dynamically if we have the wallet ID, and if we do have the ID, this will just update that wallet. So this is good. Now let's just save this and see if this is working. So let's open this one and change this to freelancing updated. Let's save this. Okay, so it just updated the name. So update functionality is working. Now let's try to update the wallet icon. Let's use this one and update. Okay, the icon update is also working. Now let's change this back to this icon and update. And the side hustle needs to have a jar icon. So let's use this one and update. Okay, so the update is working. Now we're gonna work on the delete functionality. So here I want to add the delete icon. And let's add a condition here. If we have the ID on the old wallet, that means we are updating, and only then we're gonna show this delete button. And we're gonna use a trash icon here. So trash, and this will have a color of white. and a size of vertical scale of 24, and then its weight will be bold. Let's close it and save this. So there we can see the delete icon, but we need to customize the button. So let's add the style, and let's use the background color as the rose color from the colors object. And then we also gonna have a padding horizontal. So let's use spacing X of 15. Let's save this. So now it's looking good. Now when we click on this button, it's going to show an alert. So let's add on press, and this will call a function show delete alert. Now let's create this function here. And inside this, we're gonna use the alert functionality, and this will just say confirm, and the message will be, are you sure you want to do this? Then we also want to add one more line. This action will remove all the transactions related to this wallet, because later each transaction will be related to this wallet, and we're gonna alert the user that if you delete this wallet, all of the transactions will be removed as well. Now this third parameter will be the options that we need to provide. So let's add an array, and the first object will show a cancel button. Text will be cancel, and let's add on press. This will just console log cancel delete, and this will have a style of cancel. Then let's just copy this for the delete button. The text will say delete, and the style will be destructive. And when we click on this button, this will trigger on delete function, which we need to create. So let's create this function here on delete, and this will be triggered when we click on the delete button. Now this is going to be an async function, which we're gonna implement later, but for now it will just say deleting the wallet with the ID. So let's just render the old wallet.id. Let's save this. So now if we click on it, this shows our model, and here we see the message. And if we click on cancel, it says cancel delete, and if we click on delete, it says deleting the wallet with this ID. Okay, great. Now let me just remove this, and here I want to add a condition if there is no old wallet. So if there is no old wallet.id, that means there is no wallet to delete. So we'll just return, then we will start the loading, and then we'll get the result from the delete wallet API, which we haven't created yet. So let's go into the wallet service, and here let's create a new function, delete wallet. This will also be an async function, and this will receive the wallet ID. This will be of type string, and it's gonna return a promise with the response type. And let's add a try catch block here. If we get any error, this will be of type any. Let's just console log this error here, error deleting the wallet. And if we get this error, we're gonna return a response as well. So success will be false, and the message will be error.message, like this. Now in the try block, we're gonna create a reference of the wallet that we're going to delete. So doc and the firebase firestore, then the wallet's collection name and the wallet ID. So this will be the reference of the wallet. Then we're gonna use the delete doc function and provide this wallet reference. So this will delete the wallet, but we do need to delete all the transactions related to this wallet, since we haven't implemented the transactions yet. So this part will be pending. So let's just add this comment, delete all the transactions related to this wallet, and then we will just return a response as success true. and we will run a message as wallet deleted successfully. Let's save this. Okay, so we'll come to this later, but now let's try to delete the wallet using this delete wallet. And here we need to pass the old wallet.id. Then we need to set the loading to false. And here let's make a condition. If result.success is true, then we'll just simply go back to the previous screen. But if it's false, then we will alert the user with the error. So this will say wallet and result.message. Let's save this and see if this is working. So let me just create new wallets, test one, and pick an icon for this one. Add wallet. And let's create one more wallet. Okay, now let's try to delete the test one and hit on delete. Okay, so the delete functionality is working, but it has an issue. When the loading is true, it still shows the delete icon. We don't want that. So let's make a condition here. When we have the old wallet.id and when the loading is false, only then it will show this trash icon. So let's save this. And now let's try to delete this one. Okay, so now it doesn't show the trash icon and the delete functionality is working. Now let me just reload the app and see if the deleted wallets are actually gone. Okay, great. So this is how we can implement the update and delete functionality using Firebase. And in the next part, we will work on the home tab.